Moussa Niger arrived in Britain on a dinghy last week, one of the 50,000 people to have done so during this government's tenure. His journey to this hotel for asylum seekers near Heathrow started 4 years and 9 countries ago. He was 18 when he set off from northeast Nigeria. Every jurisdiction he passed through tried to stop him in his tracks. Every government en route asking the same question. Is there anything that any of the governments in any of those countries could have done to stop you coming? We'll come to the why Britain question, but first, why did he set off in the first place? In 2020, he left Nigeria and his home in Kasheba, Borno State. This is Boko Haram country. Moussa's father, an imam, had spoke out against the militant Islamists, and they had murdered him in his home. He wasn't the only one. During the Kasheba massacre in 2020, Boko Haram slaughtered dozens of people in the area where Moussa grew up.
Bana jin daɗi sai in dole ne ta kama kamar irin haka shine kawai nake iya yin wannan magana, amma in ba irin wannan lokacin kamar haka ba ko ni kadai wani lokacin abin ya faɗo min zan da ta kuka haka dai daga ƙarshe kawai zan gode a Allah dai tunda shi komi haka ne rayuwar duniya kawai zan, amma ba zan iya kwatanta shi ba zan iya faɗa da baki abin da nake ji ba zan iya.
The 18-year-old fled across the border into neighbouring Niger. With no money, he was duped by someone offering him employment and ended up being brought to Mali, where he was put to work by a militant group in a gold mine.
Lokacin da ya kai mu sai bar mu kaman a cewar kaman mu an yi nasarar kamo mu ne kuma dole mu yi aikin. To shine abin da ya faru.
He eventually escaped to Algeria and then made his way to the coastal city of Sfax, Tunisia. That's where we first met Moussa in May last year. We were filming with the Tunisian Coast Guard. A deal had been done between the EU and Tunisian government, millions of euros in exchange for stopping the boats. He was on this intercepted vessel en route to Italy, pleading to be let go. Brought back to Sfax and to the squat where he and others were in hiding.
Here, as you can see, we are 6.
Not long after we met him, he tried again. He'd spent months working in the black market, saving up enough money for the smugglers. Every day during the summer of last year, bodies were washing up on the beaches around Sfax after failed attempts. But this time, Moussa made it to the island of Lampedusa, Italy. From there, sent to asylum seekers accommodation in Milan. Despite Giorgio Meloni's government cracking down on migrants, numbers of arrivals, Moussa's included, had doubled in 2023. From there, he travelled to Holland. Geert Wilders' right-wing Freedom Party had won 1/4 of the votes a few months earlier on an anti-migrant ticket. We met Moussa again at an asylum centre near the town of Vert. Why did you decide on Holland?
I met someone, he's Nigeria. He said, if you go to the Holland, it's okay for you.
Okay. How do you make these decisions? Is it just like word of mouth? People recommend things, or do you have a bigger plan?
I have a bigger plan.
While the route is fluid and goes through safe countries, he says nothing will deter him from getting to Britain. Not the prospect of being sent to Rwanda, not the English Channel, because nothing's worse than what he's already been through. If you get to Calais and you try and get across on the boats, are you aware, do you know how dangerous that is?
Yes, because you know I tried from Tunisia to Italy.
Okay.
I know.
No prizes for guessing where we meet Moussa next. I got a call a few days ago from Moussa to say he had left Holland and was now in Calais, which is where we are now. What's changed politically in the meantime? Rishi Sunak has called a general election, of course, and if the Conservative Party lose, the Rwanda policy is no more. This is home. Give us the tour.
Okay.
Along with dozens of others, Moussa was staying at a disused factory in Calais. And with the cliffs of Dover in sight, answers the why Britain question. Compliments of his country's history and his father's stories, he has this deep, almost spiritual connection to the place.
Because UK is like a grandmother for me, so that now I will say I just lose mother, which means Nigeria. Now, as die, I have to go to the grandmother.
Is that how you see it?
Yeah.
So you've lost your mother,
Yeah.
i.e. Nigeria,
Yeah.
and in your mind, the next place,
The
the place that you feel closest to after Nigeria is Britain.
In Britain.
Last week, Moussa hid in the dunes on the French coast. He'd no money, so took a very dangerous risk. Waited until he saw a group making a dash for the water, then joined them unbeknownst to the smugglers. On Tuesday last week, the 18th of June, Moussa arrived into Dover along with 881 others, the highest number picked up on the channel this year in a single day. One person's story shouldn't, of course, dictate immigration policy, perhaps just inform it somehow. Moussa says that the only deterrent would have been a Boko Haram bullet 4 years ago.
I will be killed by some group. If the government said they will kill me,
I see.
I will stop.
So the only thing that would have stopped you is if you had died.
Yeah.
In other words, the worst thing that could have happened to Moussa on the journey was at the beginning.